There are deflated marks on the table behind us. There's spring in the air, and that can only mean one thing. We're in Chicago at the sailing school barge at the Chicago Yacht Club, and it's summer. It's not summer yet, but man, at least I'm not wearing a snowsuit anymore to come over and see you, Matt.
Yeah.
Look, welcome back to the Boat Feed. I'm Alan Block. This is Matt Knighton, and together we analyze the very best videos and pictures coming off of the Volvo Ocean Race racing boats from around the world, across the ocean, now coming up from Brazil to Newport, and they're in Newport now. Matt, what kind of leg was it?
I mean, I think it was a leg that you're after the Southern Ocean leg. This is, the guys are in full stride right now. You're in the second half of the race. OBRs are, have everything flushed out by this point. We're starting to really see, personal styles come out, and I thought it was awesome. There's things during the leg that we've never seen before. An epic finish, even though it was kind of a drifter and light winds, it still was kept me up at night. So, yeah, pretty good leg.
Yeah, I mean, I think in races past, certainly, in the one that you did, and in most of the ones I followed, this leg tends to be super tight. Even in the open box rule days, it was still super tight. Trade winds make things a little bit more consistent. It makes it easier to stay in touch with your fleet. But still, I think these guys found a way to have a lot of fun out there.
Yep. And
do a lot of creative things. And and I really enjoyed this leg a lot more than I expected to, because usually it's kind of a letdown after the Southern Ocean, right?
Yeah. Well, I really remember this leg because it feels like that way on board too. It is a bit of a letdown, deflating for your creativity not to have that hammering you every day, but it also forces you to get back into your stride. It is consistent sailing. You're on the tail end of the race, so you know that you don't have a lot more time to try things that you wanted to try, and I think that's where you saw the guys shine.
That's really interesting. I think, you said it there, tail end. It's not really just the second half. This is it. This is the home stretch.
You are on the downward slope.
You're going north.
Yep.
It's getting warmer towards summer. Like everything, every day, you feel it build into your body, build into your soul, and get closer to that point where you're home and you're at the finish line, and this epic saga is over and behind you.
It is a sprint to the finish at this point.
It sure is, and they sprinted hard. They worked hard. It was great to see. We're going to get to the videos in just a second, but first, huge thanks to the people that make this possible, the companies that support us, and to all of you guys who've been watching and sharing and liking the Boat Feed. It's been getting great traction around the world, and we're just super happy that you guys are enjoying it. So we're going to keep doing it.
Think? We got Musto.
Musto from the very beginning. They've been on board, and a big thank you to all the folks at Musto in the UK and here in North America, and for supporting us with these great limitless shirts. I didn't have to. I got.
We got it that time. Yeah. Good job.
They're amazing, and you got to buy them for your regatta wear. But also, I mean, I'm just busting out my MPX because I'm doing a whole season of Melgus 32 racing on the Great Lakes, including the Mackinac. So I'm gonna be wet, and nothing takes care of you like Musto MPX for this coastal stuff.
So thanks for Musto, thanks for Inmarsat, who also sponsors the Boat Feed, the official satellite communications provider for the Volvo Ocean Race, responsible for keeping all the content flowing off the boats to their satellite systems, as well as keeping the crew safe wherever they're at.
Something else I found out about Inmarsat recently is that they send a lot of the videos of Inmarsat around to their employees at the company, and they're really into it.
Love it. Yeah. No, they seriously do. Like, this is like every 3 years when the Volvo comes around, Inmarsat employees get a ton of it, and they love it.
Yeah.
So it is kind of cool.
Yeah.
You'll go to a stop over the OBRs, and they'll seek you out and be like, the Inmarsat employees are all about it, so it's cool.
And finally, our last sponsor is Steve Kindra over at Skyway Yacht Yard and Skyway Yacht Works right here in Chicago. We love what Steve's been doing for the yacht racing community forever. He not only with all the volunteering and all the race committee work that he does for Chicago Yacht Club, but also being one of the best go-to yards for paint, for repair, for everything, for storage, for your racing yacht right here in Windy City. So thanks to Skyway, and yeah, let's get to it, man. Awesome. What do we got?
Well, we're going to dive in straight into the raw content. So here we go.
Actually, before we get to that, I have a question for you.
Okay.
That feeling of going home, right? Which really the first time you get it is after you leave Brazil. And you really feel like you're going home.
Yeah.
Does it change your relationships with the rest of the people on board? Knowing that you've been in a foxhole now for 6 months.
Yeah.
You've been at war.
Yeah.
With these people. You love them, they're your brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And it's ending really soon.
Yep.
Does it change something?
Yeah, I think, I've never thought about that way. It was, maybe in a little bit, everyone starts to loosen up a little bit. Not that things are tense before that, but I think you want to, you can see the end of the tunnel. right? And so you're also aware of what's happening in the point standings, so everything does ratchet up another notch as far as that goes. But from the survivability point of the part of the race, you can see an end in sight. By this point, you are mentally just beaten down, just trying to get through it, right? It's really a slog. So I think that there is a little bit of changes. There is a little, people start to loosen up a little bit on board. There's a different bit of a feel to it.
I would imagine too, the boats that don't have a big chance of moving much in the standings, I think that dynamic could change as well. When you're not when fighting for every point, maybe isn't that important really in the whole scheme of things.
Yeah. Well, and we're going to see in these videos, everybody's is very comfortable with themselves. Even more so than last race, and we'll get into that a little bit here. But I think that you'll see a lot of stuff, just kind of flow freer with the interviews and the humor and all of that. So.
All right. Well, first, and in fact, a couple of my picks this month were from Dongfang, and the first one is Carolyn Brower, and the reason I picked this is because I hate departure videos, right? Go look at all the departure videos, and 9 out of 10 of them, 98% of them for all the races in history are drone, start shot, maybe someone yelled at someone, turn the mark, kite up, and we had a pretty good start. It was pretty good.
Where we're going to go today?
We rubbed those guys off.
Newport.
I can't look at another one. I can't. So I look at each one really quickly, and then this one, this is not your typical departure video. What is this? This is a chest cam, which I've shot a few chest cams over the course of my career, and they're really, really cool. They show a very unique angle. There's no head in the way. You really feel like you're on the person, right?
Yep.
And this one, Carolyn Brower is doing everything on the boat. She's clearly trimming, right? She's trimming head sails, right? But she's calling distances, she's calling lanes, she's running around, she's tidying up lines, she's helping on the hoist, helping on the dowse, and this is edited in such a way that you really get that thing that I'm always searching for. I wish I was there. And I'm there today. I'm right there trimming that sail.
I thought it was great because what it shows to me is that Jeremy. So Jeremy's on board with Dongfang. It just shows like how well he knows the crew by now. Like he just started the race. Hey, Carolyn, can you put this? Can you wear this during the start? A lot of times a sailor would say no to you, right? But she wears it, and it looks awesome. And I think that the amount of editing that he had to put into this, because you have to watch the whole thing. Then you just started the race.
You're half hour, 45 minutes.
Now you're watching like the entire start and picking out the points that you need to. And then there's also a little bit of a conform that has to happen with the file formats from the cameras. So it took them a while to put this together. But it's a fresh perspective that people hadn't done before.
I'll tell you what else I really like about this. You take this to your sailing school or to your junior sailing program and you go, that's what a pro does.
They're going to learn a lot.
Think about when you guys communicate with your crews, think about what this girl does. I mean, it's beautiful stuff.
Awesome.
Bam.
What we got next? We got fire and water, right?
So the next one was, and again, we're always looking for something unique, especially at this point in the race, right? We're looking for stuff we've never seen before, as you said. And these two videos actually, one's from Turn the Tide and the other one's from Turn the Tide, one's from Brunel. Sam on Brunel. But there was actually two from Turn the Tide, and this is the second one that was after they got the shot and then re-edited it along with a message, and it's brilliant stuff. Let's take a look.
So today we went through a really busy area just off the Brazilian coast, and it's an area that they're investigating and surveying for future oil production. There were loads and loads of ships, some of them actually drilling with, you can see the gas being released and burnt off and water running over the decks. And the whole operation involves so many vessels that you just kind of imagine how much money is being spent. Now I know we still use oil, but I'm thinking the way everybody's attitude is changing towards plastic, that oil use is going to reduce. And I think if that can happen, you look at that money that's being spent on this investigation in this survey area, and you've got to think surely that should be now invested in renewable energy. If the way we want to go in keeping our world and our environment happy, our oceans healthy, you've got to think that renewable energy's got to be the way forward. So it's really frustrating to see. And you just hope that change will happen.
All right, so I mean, what struck me with this one is they got this amazing shot. they're out there to help the environment. That's the whole point of them being out there.
Yeah.
And here's the shot that no one's. I mean,
no one's ever seen.
I've
these
sailed
things
60,000 odd miles at sea.
Yeah.
I've never seen a giant ship
It's
with a 40-foot long blowtorch coming out of it.
It's not a good thing, right? But it's like.
But what is that shit?
Visually,
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
There's a blowtorch coming out of this ship.
It's
I
amazing.
get what they're doing.
Yep.
They went back, they re-edited, and they did this in a matter of minutes. It was really quick.
Yeah.
And Dee gives a great talk about what they're doing and what oil is about and what the environment's about and what reducing the plastic load on the earth will actually do to reducing oil, because all of our plastics come from oil. Not everyone knows that. So this is a beautiful job for the sponsors, a beautiful job for Dee, who's really become the environmental ambassador in this sport right now. And I love the job. And then Sam goes and one-ups her. Show that.
All right, let's check it out. I mean, look at that. That's insane. And he keeps doing this, like he does it with like a car carrier later on in the leg, when he gets like right up next to it. I'm pretty sure that the workers on board, they can see the drone, and it's just like, it's really, really cool perspective.
I love it so much.
What's awesome about all these videos is that every team sailed through here. So you had all these different perspectives on it, which actually gives you a really good chance to compare one OBR's perspective of it to another OBR's. I mean, here, he's got Kyle Langford going on about what they're seeing, and he cuts back and forth between these amazing aerials. Like that's.
I'm
I know it's not a good thing what these ships are doing, but I could look at it forever because they look crazy.
Yeah, it's wild stuff.
I don't know if I could look at Kyle.
He's a good-looking kid, but it's about half of what he was, a year and a half ago. There's about half of Kyle there. Where's the rest of them? Listen, no, great stuff from both parties, though, and again, showing us something that no one ever gets to see, really.
Yep, for sure. All right, so what do we got next? We've got
Dance party. Yeah, I mean, when you're not in giant Southern Ocean and there's no dolphins and there's no sunsets or sunrises to shoot, there were two teams you can count on for fun and comic relief. There's now one, because one of them has lost their sense of humor for obvious reasons. Turn the Tide has still got a great sense of humor. Liz is the funniest girl on the boat, and let's have a look at this one.
We're trying to pick out a new crew, the theme song, and I think they need a little bit of help, because there's some pretty wacky ideas out there. Gangnam Style.
Mana mana, mana mana, mana mana.
How do you not love that? Do I love that? I mean, maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe I'm not their target audience.
No. What's happening though, and this is cool, is that the race is changing. It's getting younger and it's getting fresher. And as you put a boat with a bunch of under 30s on it, they don't care. We've talked about this. Like there's kind of this unspoken mantra amongst Volvo Ocean Race sailors that's always been very strong and stoic, and there's tons of humor, but it never gets captured on camera. That's the opposite. And what's happened with Turn the Tide is they just let loose all the time. So I'm not surprised to have seen this at all. And I think it's kind of cool that they're willing to be themselves on camera. That's kind of what you want to see, and that's when you get things that are breaking up the monotony of the race, which happens all the time on these boats, but it doesn't necessarily get shot.
You know what else this does? Again, we talk about kids, we talk about the future. This teaches kids, and there's a lot of 14, 13, 15-year-olds that are watching this stuff. This teaches every one of them that this is how you can race as a pro and do I mean, they were winning at this point.
Yeah, they can still be themselves, right?
So,
yeah.
You know what I mean? But how long? Yeah. How long have people been watching? Whoever it is, whether it's Terry or Dean or any of these guys, these sort of no man love. You know what I mean? Like you're stoic. You're like, how long have they been watching that and taken their hints from that? Well, now they can take their hints from this, and we can get back to having fun on boats.
Yep. No, I thought it was awesome. So good stuff.
Good stuff.
All right, this is your last one.
All right, my last pick.
The Rubik's Cube.
My last pick. So, as you say, people are loosening up. But the other thing that's happening is that the OBRs are coming back to ideas that they've had for a while. That they know are interesting, that they know are cool. Yeah. And I know that everyone knew that Charles Cadrillia had a Rubik's Cube on board his boat. And it took half a race and Sam Greenfield. It's Sam, right?
No, this is Jeremy.
Sorry. It took half a race and Jeremy Licati to finally put it all together. So let's have a look.
Check it out.
Bon Maxime, comme parfois je m'ennuie un petit peu sur le bateau, on a emmené un Rubik's Cube. Comme ça m'énervait que tu sois meilleur que moi, je me suis entraîné. Regarde bien ce que j'arrive à faire maintenant. Tu vois, j'ai tout mélangé là, hop, hop, hop. Go. Hey, il est trop fort ton père. En fait ton père il est pas aussi bon que toi, c'est juste un sale tricheur, regarde. L'astuce c'est que j'en avais deux et il y en avait un caché derrière mon dos qui était tout propre. Bon, je l'avais quand même fait tout seul.
So yeah, I mean it's if you understand French, it's even funnier. But you actually have a little translate button on the bottom of YouTube that you can use if you want to. But it's.
Is that what you used?
No, I don't need to. Fortunately, I'm lucky enough that my dad stuck me in a French home for a while.
It's incredible.
They called it a home. Anyway, it's so funny. It's all about the Rubik's Cube and how it saves his life and how he uses it to, and how he's so good at doing it and everything else. And then you have to watch through to the end to get the twist. But
I'm at 2 Rubik's Cubes. Yeah.
Everyone's getting looser, like you say.
Yep.
The OBRs are catching up with their own ideas and taking it off when they have all this nice weather.
Yeah.
Which is huge. And finally, they know now who they can go to, who they can get for
They've
stuff
got
from,
all the
how to get
personalities
it.
figured out. That was something I had in Abu Dhabi. I know who the comedian was. I knew who was going to give me the best race updates. Yada yada yada. You got your guys picked out, and these OBRs have been with these teams consistently enough. Even though there is a rotation, that they're starting to get that.
And now we can get these stories that we've been asking for 6 months.
Yep.
That really personalize these people.
So what this story reminds me of, and it actually was the same leg, is the exact same thing. We had all these ideas that we wanted to try, and this one we didn't get a chance to try for probably obvious reasons. But Sam Greenfield had the idea that he was going to find a stray cat, because there were tons of them in Brazil, and during the stopover he was going to record the cat on board the boat and then take that footage with him. Wasn't going to take the cat with him, was going to take the footage with him and then put it through a boat feed like the cat had been stuck on the boat later. Like, it would have been hilarious, right?
That would have been hilarious. What about you?
Full rights wouldn't have liked it.
What's the one video of all the videos that you really wanted to do but you never got to do on the boat?
Oh my God!
I know you have one. Yes, you do.
I don't know. There was one video that never saw the light of day, and that was pooping in the Southern Ocean with Louis Sinclair, and it was just it was the most masterful lesson, and he was literally sloshing all around the front of the boat trying to do it, and we had a good laugh doing that. Someday you'll see the light of day. We sent it off the boat, and Volvo didn't publish it.
Wonder why?
I don't know why. Yeah. All right.
Poop. Everybody poops. Just everyone does.
You heard it here on the boat feed first, folks. All right.
So what do you got?
So I got these two, and they're both from Sam.
Sam's getting the love in this.
He's getting the love today. So the first one here is going to be this shot as they were going through the Gulf Stream, and it was a boat feed that he sent off with Kyle talking about how heinous the weather is. But what's cool is that it was shot at night, and just check out the footage.
Team us up on deck, so about to start our watch. It's just on standby at the moment, and sounds like it's pretty rough up there and wet. But we're going to get happening.
So what you're seeing in this is it's black and white because it's shot at night and they're using infrared cameras. There's a backlight that you can see right behind them.
That's not a real light. They can't see that.
They can't see that light. To them, everything is pitch dark on deck. That infrared they cannot see, but the camera, the night vision camera, can see it. And so you get this ridiculous backlighting. And then I've never seen it used this way before. When someone turned it on, because they were just like rocketing through.
You know what this,
Cool.
You realize what this looks like. So for
it
me,
looks like a film set.
It looks like a film set.
Yeah.
There's a spotlight behind them.
Yeah, they're at like a
black screen, black fabric all around.
They're in a studio on like a rocker,
and someone's doing the spray or the fire hose.
That's what it looks like.
Exactly what it looks like. That's amazing. But that's an infrared light. How big is that light?
Look at that. That's so. It's about this big. It's very small.
Oh my God.
It's very small, but it pumps it out.
That's insane. Look at the shadows and the spray.
Like for me, this is one of the.
Wow.
This was around last race, and no one got this shot. So.
That is technical brilliance.
It's awesome. It's one of the coolest perspectives of the race so far.
It also, I think, like the way the waves keep hitting, it really kind of shows that relentlessness, and it catches the spray. Which
you know what's
really
cool?
see.
No, that's right. You see every single drop of spray.
How you're breathing it in.
And what's cool to me too is the fact that it's all in focus, which at night is really, really hard to do. So
awesome work.
Really, really technically proficient there.
And who's that?
That was Sam on Brunel.
Sam as well.
All right, now here's Sam's other one. Now, everybody saw in the last race, Stefan Koppers had the best, what was it? Bermuda Triangle video ever, right?
Yeah.
So Sam had to do something different, so check it out.
Yeah, this morning we entered the Bermuda Triangle.
Which is a triangle between Bermuda, obviously, the Caribbean and Florida.
There's a lot of mystery surrounding the triangle, and numerous ships and aircraft have been lost in the past.
For the first time we see another boat behind us, so that's not really something that we're used to. But besides that, everything seems normal so far.
So, I mean, we're talking about the Bermuda Triangle. I mean, the whole thing was great, right? But here's the funniest part, and this is why it actually is really cool, is that Sam got KP to do this stuff.
Dude, not only did he get KP to do it, but he got KP to like...
KP's being himself.
He got KP to act like he was in an 80s British soap opera. I mean, that's what it looked like. I love it. That was the best scene ever.
He's doing like the flying saucer with the pan, and then here at the end it's coming up when they do the when he's doing the nav station routine.
Hey guys, what's going on with the GPS? We've lost all comms. Oh shit, the compass is gone too.
I love to see it when the OBRs are comfortable enough, and the team is comfortable enough with the OBR that they're able to talk them into doing something like this. And the sailors love it too, because it breaks up their day. It's fun for them to do, right? Yeah. So yeah. Here's the disappearing yacht trick. Oh wait, no.
This is the best.
Here he goes, right?
With the radio dial.
Like, I don't know, like, what do you say to him? Hey KP, hey, can you make it seem like you disappear? It's going to be really great. Like, the fact that he did it was awesome. Yep.
I love it. Awesome stuff. Awesome. Let me ask you another question. Right?
Yeah.
It's clear that when it's really when conditions are really bravo, it's not easy to get great footage, but there's always great footage around. Mm-hmm. It's clear that when it's dead calm, there's another story to tell, and that story is always there to be told. When there's dolphins or fish, that story is there to be told. When there's gas platform or shipping, that story is there to be told.
Yeah.
But in this stuff, right, day after day after day, you're not tacking, you're not jibing, you're almost never changing sails, or rarely changing sails. It seems like certain people really start to spin into overdrive. Sam's one of those people. Is that something that has to be fostered, that creativity, or is it just something naturally in you?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's fostered or if it's natural, but I think that what it is it's a conscious effort not to be beaten by the glamour sailing days. And that's what this is, right? Like, you're doing 15, 18 knots and blue skies, and it's beautiful out, but there's nothing happening really on the boat. So that was like the days that, at least for me, that I dreaded, right? Like, like you said, if you have heavy weather, it's terrible. If it's light weather, you got a story. But when it's like this, what do you do? And I think you have to consciously not let it beat you. You have to wake up every morning and say, if there's not a story here today, I'm going to come up with one. And it racked my brain. I hated it, but that you have to really, really get so creative and create your own stories. And that's where it's really helpful to have the guys on the team buy into what you're doing, because half the time the sailors are the guys coming up with the videos.
So we spoke about Newport. Unfortunately, we're not there, and gutted about it, but life calls. However, Brandon Flack, Musto North America Distributor, and one of the co-founders of the MudRatz, is in Newport, I think with his kids, and let's talk to Brandon to find out what that stopover is going like. All right, folks, so we've been trying to hook up with this guy for the better part of 6 months already, and a huge thanks to Brandon Flack, the president of Atlantic Marketing, and all the folks at Musto, for whom Brandon is the North American rep. And we love what you do, Brandon, not just Musto, but your other companies. But we also love what you've done with the MudRatz as the co-founder of the MudRatz. You just do all the fun things that everyone seems to want to do, you know? So welcome to the BoatFeed, a project that you sort of helped launch.
Thanks, Alan. You know, they say if you want to show kids a good time, find the biggest kid to lead the charge. I've heard that more than a few times in my day. So I love it. It is, you're right, it's almost all volunteerism and passion. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff, man. And we love following the MudRatz. And we also have enjoyed what you guys have been doing during the Volvo. It's been a really tough Volvo Ocean Race. It's been a really wet, difficult, tragic race in many ways, but it's also been an incredibly exciting race. I think, you know, from your standpoint as Musto's leading rep in North America, what is Musto's role in the race now as it's evolved? You're not just really a provider anymore, you know?
Yeah, so we partner with a few teams, you know, to get the gear out there and get it on the boats and get them wearing it, you know, and it's nice because we've got off-the-shelf solutions that these guys can wear down in the Southern Ocean. But then there's always, you know, tweaks and changes and opportunities to improve. And we've got a team that travels around the world, you know, setting up the big Musto village. But these guys are also, and girls are tech reps, you know, ready to go and ready to service the product and do dry suit seals and that sort of stuff. And, you know, just the knowledge we get every time we do one of these races just makes the gear that much better. It's an awesome opportunity for us, you know, for real good, fast feedback from, you know, really technical sailors that are pushing this stuff to the edge.
I often wonder about that. Like, I know that Musto spends a lot of money on research and development. Are those R&D cycles coordinated with the Volvo, where the engineers at Musto take that information back and then work for a year after the race to get the best product out there? Or how does it work?
Yeah, absolutely. Like in the last time we were in Newport 3 years ago, you know, immediately following, you know, 12 months after that, when the first production product could arrive, our new HPX was launched, and we had taken half the seams out of it and made it a much more, you know, slimmer cut. And we reduced the weight of the thing by like 40%, which was already pretty tough to do. But those were all features that we got in the last go around that then became our production HPX for the next 3 years.
How are things holding up? How are the sailors holding up?
Everybody seems to be in really good spirits. I mean, you know, there's certainly been, you know, everything from this race, from, you know, the standard triumph to tragedy, and just the guys all seem to be in pretty good spirits.
And what are you, as a guy who's got two kids who really love sailing, and obviously your whole life is sailboat racing and helping out customers and doing outreach. How has this race been for you as a fan and for your family as fans?
You know, my family is super fans of it. You know, Sarah Hossedler in the last go around on SCA with Helly Hansen became a pen pal of my daughter's, and they were plugging stuff back and forth all the time. And it's cool because my daughter was about 8 inches shorter than Sarah the last time they met, and now she's about 2 or 3 inches taller. But you know, she was just so inspired by them. And now with the ladies on board every boat, you know, Lily just looks around at, you know, opportunity everywhere, and it's such a sport full of role models for the kids that it's just nice to have it here and have them get to be part of it, at least for part of the stopover.
I remember, you know, obviously with all the debate that went on around this, the new male-female breakdown rules for this race, there were a lot of sort of status quo folks who said it was wrong. It would send the wrong message to young girls that, you know, that it's, you know, that women don't have the same value as men, that you get an extra woman or whatever. What would you say after now that we've seen the experiment? What's the effect that it's had on your daughter?
It's proven to her that she can do anything. It's proven to her that, you know, if other girls can do it, I can do it. It's also made her ask the question of, you know, hey, can I get that ride? You know, especially when the girls are so young at Lily's age at 14, 15, where now all of a sudden, you know, she hops on the boat and she knows, you know, she's seen other women do it, and she's just like, you know, step aside, I'm driving.
Right on. Well, she's an amazing kid, and it's great to see that you've raised such a good sailor. Well, let's talk about Newport. Obviously, you were there 4 years ago. We hung out together. Pretty good scene, I think.
Yeah.
Does it feel at least as good as last time? Does it feel like the community has come out to support it really well once again?
Newport always opens up for this race coming in. I mean, it's just such an authentic town, and, you know, everybody in this town knows something about the sport in some way. It's like very few other places in North America. And, you know, the signature would have been the finish. You know, I mean, they're finishing right at dawn, but yet, you know, as the fog started to clear, you looked out there and you saw 60 boats following the lead boat in, and you couldn't even see 20 feet in front of yourself. But all the boats, had their systems set up. They were all there ready to welcome them. There was, a couple hundred people on land at the worst time of the day for it possible. But, you also looked around, you recognized everybody. It was just the Newport crowd, on spot, on time, ready to go.
Yeah, and they're really showing the way, and they're showing that, just like female sailors, Newport is showing something that in America we haven't really seen much of, which is you can pull off a successful sailboat racing stopover and do good things for the community, and end up making money really for everybody, and it really is a win-win. And I'd like to see some other places follow along.
What's been really cool about it is we did such a great job at the last stopover that the word got out to the families and crews. And this is the one stopover everybody circled in this race, that if you were going to bring your wife or fiance or girlfriend or your parents or somebody, they were all coming to Newport. So the amount of teams that have family here for this event is almost double, I think, what they've had at any other stopover this race around.
That's incredible.
Which, that's really cool. And I can't wait to see what the send-off is going to be like on Sunday. Because, last time you could literally walk from here to Jamestown with all the boats that were in the harbor.
Well, we're going to have it on the big screen here, watching it in Detroit, so it should be pretty good. I have two more questions just to bring this back to the OBR stuff. Were there any custom requests for OBRs? Like, is there anything specific to what these guys are doing that they need that's different outfitting-wise, gear-wise, than the sailors need?
Not really specifically. The OBRs are all outfitted in Musto, regardless of which team they're on, because that's part of our relationship with Volvo. But, they just get our off-the-shelf HPX solutions, and I think they're pretty happy with it.
Yeah. And do they go through as many sets as the sailors do?
No, they don't. They're not quite as hard on the gear as the sailors are.
Slightly lower impact. Okay. All right, bud. Well, listen, your kids are coming in this weekend to come check out the village?
They are. We're going to have the MudRatz, the offshore team. The MudRatz offshore team has been practicing. They've got 8 days on the water already and already got an overnight in for their Bermuda adventure. But we're giving them Sunday off from practice to all come over to the village and enjoy it.
Have you gotten any of them on a Volvo boat?
It's funny you ask. We have had the kids volunteer around the village, sweeping the floors, drying the boats, whatever jobs they could possibly do.
Sure.
And 2 of them came over yesterday. We're stuffing envelopes. They're doing some work. And Bill Erklund came walking by around lunchtime and said, what are you guys doing this afternoon? And they said, we're here to work for you, whatever you need us to do. We said, put on your foul weather gear. We need a couple more sailors. So they got to go out on Vestas for the afternoon yesterday.
It's a perfect lesson for all the young sailors out there. Get there early, do the work, and sooner or later you're going to get a ride on something sweet.
Never know when somebody asks you to go.
Beautiful stuff. Flack, thank you so much, and thank you to Musto and all of our sponsors here at the BoatFeed. And we can't wait to see you. Maybe you'll come out here to Chicago for the grand finale where we're going to do live in front of a studio audience.
Maybe, but thanks for having us, Alan. Musto is super psyched to be part of the BoatFeed. I was talking about it with some of the sailors last night. The sailors love it because, there is just so much content and so much stuff being thrown at them. And your guys' format of narrowing it down to like something interesting and something funny that we can sort of just make sure we got all the highlights from the previous leg. It's been great. And I'm telling you, the sailors are watching it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, brother. Check out Musto on Facebook or Musto North America or Musto UK, whatever, and tell him that Brandon Flack sent you. He's the man, and he's doing everything that he needs to do to make the next generation of kids up there in New England love this sport. Thank you, Flack.
Thanks, Alan.
Great to get the word from Brandon and his family down by the water in Newport. Looks like an amazing stopover. Numbers are great. The weather's been great, and the whole community is once again, and the government is coming out to support this thing. So it looks like it'll be many more years that Newport remains at the center of yachting in America. So, next leg. What do we got?
The Transat. Like I said, this is the end is in sight now, right? So they've got 8-9 days across the Atlantic. I mean, that's a sprint to these guys by this point. You're ready to get into it. You're not going to have to sleep that much. You don't have to really get into a routine. It's just a full-on sprint to the finish. And these next 3 legs. So
it's also water that everyone knows. I mean, everyone on Dongfang has been across like 4,700 times there.
They've done practices on this. They know it real well. Yeah. They could have some severe weather on it. You could have some really awesome footage. This is the last place at the 24-hour record of the race. Could be set if they catch the right weather pattern. I'm not sure what it's looking like, but I love the Transat. It's so much fun.
What about the stopover itself? I mean, Newport obviously was amazing last time around. Yep. We talked about that it was voted the best by everybody.
Yep.
Is it something you see happening for a long time for the future, or is it something other cities are going to start to fight over?
Man, I don't know, but you know, I think that hopefully, I hope it stays in Newport. I don't see a better option at this point, and I think a lot of that is Brad Reed and the team that he's built around there. A lot of ways, it's similar to what we did here for the Louis Vuitton America's Cup World Series Chicago. Just when the entire city gets into it and you've got people really passionate about it on the ground that can marshal that type of support, it changes the whole stopover field.
And when the general in charge is as experienced as someone like Brad, that helps a lot too.
Yep, for sure. So I really hope it keeps happening.
Right on, right on. Okay.
Sweet.
Next leg.
Next leg.
So Transat for me, I'll always remember because of my experience having sort of gotten into this whole game, 13 years ago when Bob Becking was in Baltimore, and I met him and interviewed him, and then he crossed the ocean.
Yep.
And then we had a death.
Yep.
And then we had a boat sink.
Yep.
Right. I mean.
Yeah. No.
So that's what I think about. It's like on one hand, it's the most comfortable piece of water for everyone.
Right.
But it's potentially one of the most dangerous. Is that because that you get complacent? Or is it just a dangerous, nasty piece of water?
I just think it's a dangerous, nasty piece of water that you might it's as unpredictable sometimes as what the Southern Ocean can be. You can have those types of conditions on it. So you never know what you're going to get. It could be dead calm. It could be glamour sailing. It could be really heavy. I think that what you're going to see, and what I want to see from the OBRs is that at this point you've kind of got like 2 teams, maybe 3 vying for the top spot.
Yeah.
So the focus for those team stories is going to now set towards how do you win the race, and that could very well be determined in this leg. What do you do to ratchet up that intensity if you're going to be really selective with what stories you're putting off the boat? I don't think that it should be just a race report update, right? There, we're here, this is where we're going.
Yeah.
I think that you have to focus in as an OBR on what the critical story is going to be.
What's going to win or lose this leg?
For us on Abu Dhabi, we had a moment where we wrapped a pallet around our keel during this leg. And it was this awesome video this night where Parko went over the side. We actually, Wendy went over the side.
Phil Harmer.
Yeah, and it was just, Phil Harmer. And it was all at night, right? And just like guys in the water at night with torches
trying to break
in the middle of the Atlantic.
Wooden pallet off your keel.
It was cool.
That's crazy.
So what are we going to see like that? I hope we see some new stuff from the UVRs.
Right on. I mean, to me, I'm interested again. New things. We haven't seen icebergs in a long time.
Yep.
And this route takes them pretty far north, depending on the weather, obviously. But it can take them right past Sable Island. And the icebergs are flowing. We talked before about how the Gulf Stream's changing Greenland. There's more ice coming off of Greenland than ever before in history.
Yep.
And that ice is all funneling into the Atlantic. It's not all being spotted. They don't, there's going to be gates. There's a whole bunch of messy things here, but potentially some really cool stuff to see.
Last race we saw growlers on this leg. It was crazy, like these refrigerator-sized icebergs, and you had no worry that they were there.
And this is like every year it's getting more and more. I think. I mean, some years are less than others, but all that ice coming from Greenland and stuff no one's ever seen before, right?
You never know what's going to happen, but we got the leg coming up.
You ever seen a narwhal?
No, I've never seen a narwhal.
I just watched a thing about narwhals last night. Maybe they're up there.
They're somewhere around there.
Such a cool word. Narwhal.
There's whales.
Can you say narwhal?
Not
narwhal.
fast.
All right, folks. That is episode 7 of the Boat Feed. We are back to you in a few weeks' time, probably from right here in Chicago at the Chicago Yacht Club across the way.
Yonder.
There. It's going to be pretty cool, and we are arranging a really special finale for this whole thing when this is said and done. Everyone in Newport, have a great time, and we'll be back to you next time. Thank you to Skyway Yacht Works, Inmarsat, Musto, and all of you guys for liking this stuff and for sharing it with your friends. Please hit subscribe if you haven't already. Please hit like, and please send an extra one out to your yacht club or sailing school. I'm Alan Block. This is Matt Knighton, and we are gone.
Thanks, guys.